Hello and welcome once again to another edition of this assembly. I am your host, servant Yahweh Soya, and I'm gonna step back into this series because this is getting really good and I don't have a whole lot of time to waste. That being said, we last left off in Bere'Shiyth chapter 26, verse 7. Now we're gonna pick up with verse 8. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Avimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Yitzchak was sporting with Rivkah his woman. They saw him on a date with Rivkah. They saw them being affectionate. PDA. Public display of affection. Bad mistake, liar man. He got comfortable. This was his second mistake. He was not supposed to be there by the word of Yahuwah. Instead of leaving there properly, he lingered. Why did he stay there for a long time? Why? Verse 9. And Avimelech called Yitzchak and said, Behold, of a surety she is your woman. And how said you, she is my sister? And Yitzchak said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. Now, before I read my explanation, I want to bring something out real quick. A lot of women and pastors too, they like to jump on men saying, oh, you're supposed to die like me, like Christ died for the church, blah, 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 painting this negative image of men. Yet, and still, they like to point to Abraham, they like to point to Isaac, aka Yitzchak, and say, oh, they were such good men, blah, blah, blah. Well, as you have just heard, both Abraham and Yitzchak, they both denied their woman. All right, they weren't married. They didn't have wives. Nonetheless, the functionality, the relationship is identical in a lot of ways, except one is being overseen by a man and the other is overseen by Yahweh. Huge difference, but identical nonetheless. That being said, neither one of them were willing to die for their women. Now, granted, these people, they like to point out that this is Christ, they talking about the Mashiach. But they always like to talk about how great Abraham and Isaac was. Well, neither one of them upheld their woman. They were willing to let their woman take what they should have taken. Be separated from them and, not cling to them or cleave to them, as scriptures say. So what do you say about that? All right, now let me read this explanation I have here. It is amazing how women today have this notion that a man's supposed to be willing to die for them. Yeah, I just said that, didn't I? Neither Avraham nor Yitzchak felt compelled to risk their lives for their women. Yeah, I definitely just said that. They were two very important men in scriptures. Yet, many women have this romantic notion, that's seeing things through the eyes of a Roman, this romantic notion that if you are not risking giving your life for them, then you are not a man like the ones in scriptures, and therefore not worthy of them somehow. All right, you're not worthy because you're not like them. Maybe you are. Verses 10 and 11. And Avimelech said, What is this you have done unto us? One of the people might lightly have leaned with your woman, and you should have brought guiltiness upon us. And Avimelech charged all his people, saying, He that touches this man or his woman shall surely be put to death. It is unclear here if this is the same man who his father, Abraham, encountered years earlier with his mother. If so, did Avimelech know who he was? Whatever the case, because of his experience with Abraham, he knew how to handle this situation. For now, the fear of Yahuwah was in him, and he did respect his authority and teaching and mercy and grace. That's a lot to be said about a man who is not mentioned in scripture as being a believer in Yahuwah, but yet he believed. His faith showed it. Verse 12. Then Yitzchak sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah blessed him. Aside from the trappings of the earth, he was also blessed by Yahuwah. It is awesome to be successful and blessed, especially when you haven't done what you're supposed to. Verses 13 through 15. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistine envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistine had stopped them and filled them with earth. Verse 16. And Abimelech said unto Yitzchak, Go from us, for you are much mightier than we. In what ways were he mightier? Was it in sheer numbers, or was it a combination of property and multitudes? I'm thinking the latter. I think it was a combination of the fact that there were so many of them that they not only outnumbered the Philistine, or at least had such a great number that the Philistine, that Abimelech feared that they may seek to overthrow them and take the land, which was going to happen anyway, but that might have been his fear. But also, they probably had garnered a lot of wealth there as well. All right, verse 17. And Yitzchak departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. Why is he still in Gerar? Is this the land he was shown? I don't think so. Verse 18. And Yitzchak dug again at the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistine had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. He is just like his father. Verse 19. And Yitzchak's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of springing water. Apparently the water was flowing there. Gerar had water and they needed water. There was a famine in the land, but they ain't going thirsty. Verses 20 and 21. And the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Yitzchak's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and strove for that also. He called the name of it Sitnah. These men of the valley of Gerar put a claim on the water that was dug up by Yitzchak and his people. How's that for appreciation? First they were kicked out, then they go somewhere and find water, and these men out there saying, that's our water. Go figure. You do the work, somebody else want to take it. Verses 22 through 27. And he removed from thence and dug another well, and for that they strove not. He called the name of it Rechoboth. And he said, For now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Bere'Shiyth, and Yahuwah appeared unto him in the same night and said, I am the Elohai of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and will bless you, and multiply your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahuwah, and pitched his tent there. And there Yitzchak's servants dug a well. They like digging wells. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Akuzath, one of his friends, and Pekal, the chief captain of his army. And Yitzchak said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? Verse 28. And they said, We saw certainly that Yahuwah was with you, and we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and you, and let us cut a covenant with you. Obviously, they has been spying on him, or they had been spying on him. Their spies must have reported setting, or should I say, seeing Yahuwah with him. How did they recognize Yahuwah? Avimelech knew that Yahuwah was with Abraham and understood the ramifications of that. The difference here is that Yahuwah was seen with Yitzchak in the flesh, where Yahuwah appeared directly to Abimelech in a dream as it concerned Abraham. Thus, Abimelech did not want to risk offending Yahuwah. Therefore, having learned from Abraham, he wanted a covenant between them and wanted to protect himself and his people. Verses 29 through 33. That you will do us no hurt, or we have not touched you. Let me start over. That you will do us no hurt, as we have not touched you, and as we have done unto you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of Yahuwah. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up early in the morning and swore one to another, and Yitzchak sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Yitzchak's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had dug, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Shavah. Therefore the name of the city is Bere'Shiyth unto this day. Verses 34 and 35. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to be his woman Yahudith, the daughter of Bere'Shiyth the Kittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Kittite, which were a grief of mine unto Yitzchak and unto Rivkah. This was an odd place to bring up Esau. Yet, seeing how he was initially compared to the serpent, his choice in women was not surprising. Not surprising in that he made disappointing choices. That being the case, his parents grieved over his choice. Not only that, but his brother Yitzchak grieved over his choice as well. All right, gonna cut it off here. We're gonna pick it up in chapter 27 upon the next time we meet, and hopefully this will not be as disappointing as it was to Rivkah and Yitzchak. This is your servant, so y'all, saying I hope you enjoyed this good day.